Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm podcast for movie lovers just like you. Disclaimer at the top of the show, we're not experts. We're not experts, but we do love watching movies. With me each and every episode is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and movie insider, Proto.
Hermione.
What the?
I was not expecting that.
That was really good.
I've been practicing that all week.
Is that AI?
Every movie, that was Google VO3 on the horn.
Oh my God.
Every movie that we cover is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's Mount GOATMORE. We're creating our own award and monument in honor of the greatest of all time, and we'll announce the first ever edition at the end of the month. You can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip to our main discussion, Danny's submission for Mount GOATMORE from 2013, and director Hayao Miyazaki, The Wind Rises. Did you guys see the breaking news last week?
Jesus Christ.
This was my plan B news item
Okay.
for previous episode. Avengers delayed. Marvel pushes Doomsday and Secret Wars to December 2026 and 2027.
For the folks back at home who don't know when the original release date was,
please tell us.
Do we know? Was it coming out this summer?
Was it soon?
It pushed it back like 7 months.
Was it? When was the release?
It was earlier in 2026. Way earlier.
2026.
Yeah.
Wow. So we have to wait to the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. It's like GTA 6 getting pushed back, but bigger.
Is GTA 6 not as big as the new Doomsday movie?
I think the Avengers movies are bigger than GTA.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Did you see the photo of RDJ as Doom on set with his buzz cut?
I didn't know.
I did not.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious. That's real. He posted a photo. He's like ripped. He's reading Jeremy Renner's autobiography, and he has like a buzz cut. He's got like his gray hair.
See, now you're joking.
That was not it. That's not it,
that can't
Proto.
be it. What is the picture?
He's added muscle, and he's ripped.
Added muscle where?
Can someone post the real photo of RDJ on set? Do I have to search it?
I need you to search it because I don't trust. This is all AI.
RDJ set photo.
That's a muscle suit.
Doomsday. There it is. Thank you, trainer. Look at he's busting out of his shirt.
That's not healthy. He's
Look
too
at
old
that
for
gray
that.
hair. I love that hair. I wish I had that.
I don't think those are real muscles.
That's real.
That's
Really?
got to be a
That's
muscle
all Robert.
Oh my God.
VO3. We joke about VO3 now, but folks.
I don't joke about it. It's serious.
Folks. Katie hates the hair. What's wrong with gray hair? Katie?
Uh-oh.
Oof.
Name 10 things wrong with gray hair. We'll get back to that. We have a big month this month. Mount GOATMORE, we talked about at the top of the show. It's the theme for the month. We have erected our own monument to the greats. And at the end of the month, we will choose the first edition to be chiseled onto Mount GOATMORE. Proto, how do you feel this month? This may be the biggest month in the history of this show.
That's true. And however this turns out, you know, I have some other ideas. If this month goes well, depending on how the numbers turn out, I had an idea that, I mean, honestly, it sounds dangerous, but we'll talk in DMs. I think it could be big.
Really?
Do you want to hint at it now for our listeners?
I mean, I could hint at it.
Okay.
Year of the Goat.
Okay. All right.
Are you tracking?
I'm tracking.
I mean, I don't even understand what that might entail. Like an entire year related to one person.
Slim's tracking as well.
Oh my God.
Could we do a year with one person?
Well, not one person, just goats. You know, every
just
week
a year
is a
of
goat.
goats.
Every week is a
52
goat.
Year of the
goats.
goat.
52 separate goats. Danny, we're going to need you to face deep filmmaker on a goat every week in some way, shape, or form. There was a watch party, I believe, in our Discord for The Wind Rises. That's our main feature presentation this week. Grux Dave puts those on in our Discord. Mm-hmm. So if you have no movie friends to hang out with, you should join our Discord on our Patreon. Dave, 4.5 stars for The Wind Rises.
5.5.
I don't even know if you can do 5.5 stars on Letterboxd.
The entity.
If the score doesn't keep you entertained, well, everything else will. Having first-time watchers, sub-watchers, dub-watchers, snatched Japanese boys, airplane dreams, and the confrontation of war as a means to use your creation. There you go. There's a lot more watch parties set up in the Discord. They're not even 70mm related. ADP, Austin Danger Pod, the podcast sensation sweeping the nation. They just did Jurassic Park. Danny, did you listen to that one?
Yeah, I think I'm done with it. Did I finish it? Hold on.
God.
I think I'm like halfway through, maybe. I got distracted. I got distracted because Spotify kicked us off again. You know? Who is Spotify? Do we have to talk to?
What is going on at Spotify? If I can just briefly get on my soapbox. I was driving to hockey last night.
Yeah.
And I get an email from Spotify infringement, no reply, saying the entire show was removed from Spotify for a copyright infringement. How do you even remove an entire show for copyright infringement? We think we're just like playing the entire movie scores in the show?
I'm confused.
So I sent a sternly worded email.
I saw it.
It included some legal threats. I found an email to the Spotify team because they don't share that email with you. I found it. Thankfully, I'm connected to someone who had it.
Who wrote the email?
I wrote the email.
I don't like Business Side Slim scares me. Business Slim is scary. I saw that email.
And lo and behold, they said they were going to, it would take 5 days to review. Yeah. Our friggin' show was back up in like 6 hours after I sent that email.
Yeah.
No one was safe after that email dropped.
I will jihad what it takes to end this war with Spotify, okay? I'm pissed off.
Should we pull it ourselves?
Okay. All right. Mean, I like
we're
that.
Talking.
I'm always happy to pull it myself.
That's like in Final Reckoning when they told her you need to bomb the U.S. as a preemptive strike.
Right.
Oh, right.
That's what we're bombing ourselves.
Yeah.
Self-jihad. With our holy war against Spotify.
We're going to holy war ourselves.
Anyway, if you're on a family plan with Spotify, you can't do anything about it. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you for that.
Right.
Thank you.
However, if you're a host of the show and you're still using Spotify, I will judge you.
We will find them.
I will judge you.
Yeah.
That's the job. Proto, you watched They Live this week. Can we get into this? You had an experience watching They Live.
Yeah, I did. Memorial Day weekend, we kind of, we stayed low. We were hanging low. What's that phrase? Hanging low?
That's not the
low hanging fruit.
Nope.
We were laying low. We were laying low as a family. We didn't have any barbecues planned. No pools or anything like that. And I thought, you know what? My brother, he moved into town, next town over a couple months back. And I was like, I wonder what he's doing. So we got together, threw back a couple brewskis, then walked back to his place. And my brother has a 77-inch OLED television.
Jeez.
And the couch, I kid you not, it's no more than 4 feet away from the screen.
Oh my God.
It's like front row at IMAX.
It really is. It's a crazy setup.
Like the fuse.
But he's a wild, he's one of these Gen Z kids. He's scrolling through Apple TV looking for a movie. He's
Doesn't know what he's doing.
live selection, and They Live comes across, and I said, I've never seen it. Let's watch it. So we put it on, and man, what a friggin' movie! What a movie! Now I'm thinking like the Holy Trinity from John Carpenter of The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, and They Live. Like if I ended up on a deserted island with only 3 movies, and it was those 3, I'd be thanking my lucky stars.
Slim, that could be your new
deserted
intro.
Island.
Yeah.
What 3 movies would you take on a deserted island? Interesting idea.
Put that one in your pocket.
I'm tracking again. So what do you think of Roddy Piper? I mean, Roddy Piper. Have you ever seen a movie with Roddy in it? Is this a first?
I don't know. Is he in a lot of movies?
Second?
We might have watched Hell Comes to Frogtown at a lake house trip years past, but I doubt you even remember
I'm seeing this now. No. Yeah, I only have logged They Live from him. Wow, he does have a lot of movies though. Holy moly.
Dude,
78 movies. Good for you, Roddy. I mean, he's amazing. His neck is something to behold in this movie. It's like a supporting character. But him and Keith David side by side, just an incredible pairing. Of course, it has the all-timer famous scene of them fighting in the alley, which is just, it's just catnip for a movie lover like me. Mm-hmm. So, fantastic movie. I mean, I loved it. I can't wait to watch it again.
Oh gosh, what a picture! It's short too, right?
It is.
It's like less than 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, John.
He wouldn't do us dirty like that. Do you remember? So, do you remember watching South Park where they did like the parody of them fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen the South Park scene probably 10 times in my life. So it was like, I'm watching it and like, here comes the knees to the goods.
What else? Anything else?
Let's see. What else?
Serpico. You watched Serpico.
Oh my gosh.
I did watch Serpico. I was a little, I watched it today. I had to call out of work sick because I'm a little under the weather. And I was thinking it's Mount Goatmore this month. And like, what's another movie with some goats in it that I could watch? And I thought, well, Sidney Lumet, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
What more do you want? 70s New York City. Disgusting city.
God, I love it.
It's so disgusting. The police, I couldn't get over the police building. I like every time there's a scene of them in the basement, it looks like they're in a dungeon. It's so gross. There's no lighting. The walls are dripping with water. But Al Pacino, my goodness, his look in this is something else.
God, he looks incredible.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that, it's not like, maybe it's called a bucket hat, but like, it's like almost like a cone bucket hat where
he's
it like
got a serious hat on.
Yeah, it goes in front of his eyes and he has to like tilt his head back to see. It
was a prototype bucket hat.
I meant to text my dad. I got to text my dad because he was in his 20s in the 70s. And I have a feeling like he might have dressed like him. It's kind of like tail end of the hippie era. I got to connect with him and see what he says. But it's also wild that this is in between the two Godfathers, Godfather 1 and 2. God. So Pacino's like on the top of the world right now in this movie. I thought it was okay. Like, I thought it's a little slow and it's about cop corruption. Do we need more stories? But it is interesting how it's like based on a true story. So I was like looking up the real Frank Serpico afterwards, and it's pretty fascinating story. So good movie.
Okay.
Good old Frank.
Let's say hello to Dustin Brody and Krishna joined our Patreon this week, got access to our Discord and those watch parties that Dave puts on, and access to our uncut episodes, longer episodes, a lot of goodies after the regular show ends. If you're listening on the public feed and the music hits and I do that outdated outro that I need to redo, there's like, another 30, 35
Could be another
minutes.
hour.
Could be another hour.
Depends on what we start talking about.
Depends on if someone has a hard cutoff. Depends on if we want to play Apex. Hard out.
Excuse me.
Let's see. And we're due to record our next episode just for patrons. We're tentatively recording next week, Rookie of the Year. That was a Cage pick, as chosen by our interns, Tyria. And William P. in chat says, yes, there is chicken talk. I have a chicken update to provide tonight in the uncut.
Okay.
We'll get into it.
All right.
Danny, you watched a movie that is rumored to be
The worst.
taking on the Indiana Jones mantle for a new generation of fans. It's got one of the hottest action stars in the biz from The Office, Jim Krasinski. How was it?
Stupid ass. It was bad. I was looking forward to it because this is like my wheelhouse. Love an action adventure treasure hunt. I love a treasure hunt. I don't know what they were going for with this film. I mean, I know what they were going for. It was Guy Ritchie trying to make an Indiana Jones film, but there were so many moments where I felt like it was just directly ripping off of every great adventure film that came before it. Nothing felt original, except for maybe the era it was set in. It's like it's modern, so it's not like, I don't know, it's not like Indiana Jones set in the 30s, or it's not like whenever The Mummy was set. But it felt like it was knocking off the Brendan Fraser movie. It felt like it was knocking off National Treasure. The literal ending feels like they're just ripping off Indiana Jones. I was like beside myself watching this film. And Krasinski, stick with the comedy, I guess. Maybe.
Wow.
I don't know. I think I've known him as the funny man for so long that it's so hard to take anything he does seriously. And there were like little comedic bits in this that just also didn't really land. I don't know. I just really hated it.
He's been in like some other action movies, like soldier type war films.
Yeah, no.
I think.
I get the sense with John that he's like 3/4 producer networker in Hollywood and 1/4 actor. Like he's good at being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I don't know. I really did not enjoy it.
Katie says Quiet Place Erasure.
I mean, if we could only erase that movie from existence.
I mean, I tried it and I shut off after 10 minutes. It looked like an Apple iPhone ad.
Right.
It looked like a really produced
Apple
fake thing.
Right.
It's an Apple TV Plus movie.
Apple TV Plus. I mean, honestly, don't waste your time.
Okay.
Wow.
Is Apple TV Plus finished? After we just heard Jonesy last week talk about this John Hamm show.
I don't even know what I'll bother.
Have you watched The Studio yet with Seth Rogen?
I watched the first episode and I really liked it.
Good.
But we were in the middle of our Shrinking watch. So we just finished all of Shrinking. So maybe we'll get back to it. I'm not sure Casey loved it as much as me. So I might have to do it on my own.
Studio's amazing.
Which I'm good at.
Rocks.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to announce now that I finished it, but The Last of Us Season 2 rocked.
You watched that?
Yeah.
Filth?
I'm caught up. I had to, I had to watch these shows in secret. I don't need anybody blabbing to me about
Yeah, now we're going to blab
episodes.
At you. Weirdo.
So I'm caught up, folks.
The Last of Us?
I saw that. That show was getting blasted on Reddit.
Really?
Blasted.
That's because they all hate the gal in the show. They're going to blast that show no matter what.
Oh, is that what it is?
Who's the gal?
Is it Bella from Game of Thrones?
Bella. Oh,
Bella Ramsey.
Get behind me, Ellie.
Yes, thank you, Hillary. Their pronouns are they, them. They're from Game of Thrones. It's just like maybe gamers are just bad people.
Oh no.
I'm not sure has anyone ever thought of this? People who play video games are bad people. And they don't like Bella, so they hate the show and they're just going to take a dump on it. I think the show's great. I think Bella's great. I think the storylines in season 2 are great. And I unfortunately had the game part 2 spoiled for me years ago. So I kind of knew what was going to happen in this season, but I was still pretty surprised by how it went.
It's a shame that you guys can't play those games. Because I played the first one. It really is like an all-time
Wait, why can't we play those games?
Because it's PlayStation or PC.
Oh.
It's on PC.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I wouldn't play it anyway if it was on Xbox. Sorry.
Wow.
Not for me.
We got to move
Hashtag.
on. Is there anything else? I watched that Pee-wee as himself documentary on HBO.
Yeah, you're a big P-head.
I tried to bring this up in Discord the other day, and Danny was not having it. He like unbuckled his belt and dumped on it. Pee Wee Herman, GOAT.
Something sounds like something Pee Wee did.
Paul Rubens. Danny, I mean, he's in Batman Returns.
He is. This is a Batman Returns doc.
Trying to find a way in for Danny.
Watching. I don't have a love for Pee Wee Herman.
I didn't either. I didn't really grow up on the television program. I know a lot of people did, and it's like,
not for me.
Creativity, artistic, love of many people. I did not. So, but I was just curious about the documentary because he died 2 years ago, and
he's dead.
Yes, he did pass away. So this documentary, he died while filming the documentary, and he's never really kind of had his own say on his career himself, his private life. He's kept it all pretty much under wraps. And I thought it was fascinating. It covers, it's essentially his way of having his say, because like over the years, his arrest in the 90s. And then what I actually completely forgot is that they raided his house years later because someone said that they thought they saw child porn in his house. So this was like another scarlet letter on him, and he like wasn't really able to defend himself. It was just like a total smear job. So this is like his way of saying that, like, this is who I am. This is my life. It was all BS, and it really impacted me. The time they spent on his television show is really fascinating. Like the work that they put in to design the sets and the story. Again, I've never really watched any of that stuff. I was never a huge Pee Wee fan, but it's a fascinating documentary. It seems like it's very much, it's the same guy who did, I think we talked about this, Spaceship Earth documentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that guy did it.
I love that doc.
It seems like it's almost semi-produced by Paul Rubens because, he's like a control freak. And there's like allusions. They don't really get into it. I wish they did, but like he had a falling out with Phil Hartman and some of the people who worked on his show. They don't really get into it. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? He's never really had his say for decades. So if he wants to really just kind of help shape this thing, that's great. I don't care. Fascinating doc.
Okay. Happy for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else we want to get into? What's our time check here? We're running out of time.
Running out of tape. We got to get into our main course. Episode 266, The Wind Rises, 2013. This is Danny's submission for Mount Goatmore. Yeah.
Just a reminder, if people want to suggest someone who should be the first addition to Mount Goatmore, you can post on our Patreon. You can DM us. You can say, I think this person should win. Maybe someone says George Lucas. I don't think anyone said George Lucas yet.
Cowards.
How quickly
but we need a submission to even consider George Lucas.
Well, that's for the year of the goat.
That is not confirmed. Proto's ideations have not yet been confirmed on this show. Proto, what is The Wind Rises?
Jiro dreams of flying. He dreams of building airplanes that don't exist yet and will form every flap and rivet in his mind to paper, then to a factory, and finally the sky. As the Empire of Japan makes ready for war, Jiro is tasked with building a cutting-edge fighter plane. He also falls in love with Naoko, and his life is pulled in two directions as she grows increasingly ill. Ever vigilant to his dream of airplanes and his love for Naoko, Jiro meets the wind as it rises before him. The wind rises.
That was very nice, Proto.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Good job.
Deanie, when was the first time you saw this movie? What's your history?
I saw it in theaters. That's my history. When it came out, I saw it, and maybe once or twice since then. I don't revisit this one often. I think I knew once I knew of Proto's love for it. I knew one day it would have to be on the pod. But yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, it was it was the coming out of retirement movie for Miyazaki. So I think a lot of people were shocked by, that it was coming. And so, yeah, that's kind of my history. I don't really have a huge history with it.
Did we do a Miyazaki pin? Remember when we did pins?
Yes. Mm-hmm. We did do a pin, yeah.
Gosh. I wonder if those ever popped up on eBay.
He's on my
They
slate.
didn't.
Miyazaki.
They're too rare.
Too rare. Yeah.
I think I watched The Wind Rises after being like made fun of on the show because I had never seen it or something.
No one
sounds
would
like
make
correct.
fun of you on the show.
Or someone had said like, "Hey, Slim, you gotta watch this movie."
That
I
sounds
watched
like
it 2021 for the first time, and I was in awe of the animation, and I don't really remember, like on this rewatch, I didn't really remember a lot from that first watch. I think I confused The Wind Rises with another Miyazaki, the one with, I feel like there's one of these movies involves like a gal in a castle, but I don't think it's Castle in the Sky, is it? No, I don't think I've ever seen that.
A gal
Like with a
in the
ghost.
castle.
Is there one with like a ghost?
Spirited Away.
Howl's Moving Castle. Have I seen that? I don't think I've seen that one. I feel like there's a Ghibli adjacent movie that I saw with like a young girl who lives in a castle. Like
Oh,
a
I know.
haunted castle
I
on
think
a hill.
Yes, I know what one you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it right now.
Damn it.
I think it's a Ghibli movie, but it wasn't directed by.
Is it the Marnie movie?
What's the name of that one?
When Marnie was here?
That might be it.
Man.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think this is it. Yes. So I confuse because there's like a scene on a hill also in that movie, maybe. And I was like, oh, we're watching this one. So anywho, that's my history with the movie. Proto, what about you?
I watched this for the first time in 2020. So I think, that year was our first year and we did My Neighbor Totoro on the show. And then I think after watching that, with COVID, I was watching more Miyazaki movies with my kids. So I think I watched Spirited Away and like Nausicaa for the first time and was blown away. So then I just went looking to watch all of them. And like this one, I hadn't really ever heard anyone talk about it, but when I watched it, I remember saying at the time, this is my favorite of the Ghibli movies. I was just like blown away by the storytelling and how like human it is. It's very much based in reality. And I think having a movie of his like that, it's just much different than his other stories that are, a fantasy or just fantastical in different ways. So, yeah. And then I watched it a couple years later again. So this is I think my third time seeing it.
I mean, you're like a Ghibli expert at this point.
I'd say so.
Proto.
I don't know. I mean, I've watched the movies, but I haven't watched any of the docs. Like I've had the Miyazaki docs on my watch list for forever. And I've never watched them. I want to at some point, but
I feel like those would change your life.
yeah, dang.
He'd get V'ger up and running after watching one of those things.
I'm being serious. I think if you were to sit and watch Dreams and Madness or maybe The Neverending Man, I think you watching how Miyazaki works, his day-to-day, and even his process of creating a movie, I think you'd be really fascinated by it. Especially at his age. It's just wild to see him at the age in the 70s and in his 70s and 80s just kind of doing it.
Okay. You
Showing up at 11 a.m., leaving at 9 p.m. at night.
Hello.
It's like
every
Jiro.
day. I think the only day he doesn't work is like Sundays.
Why?
Because he has like laundry to do or something, he says.
Does he wear the same thing every day? Is he like a Steve Jobs type?
He
or does
has
have,
the apron, the white apron that he wears, but his underclothes change. He's got a great tank watch too. I can never make out what watch he's wearing.
Really? I figured that would be like step one of yours.
I can't figure it out.
Verify what watch he wears.
I mean, I've never actually Googled, but I've tried to catch it while he's drawing in one of the docs. But yeah,
what kind? You called it a tank watch? What is that?
A tank?
Yeah, I don't know. What that is.
It's got the rectangular shape.
Oh,
Yeah, like the Cartier tank.
Oh, Yeah, those are nice.
I don't think it's Cartier though.
Danny, this is your submission for Mount Goatmore. That you are saying that Miyazaki should be etched in granite in our new monument. So what's at the top of your list for this viewing?
I think at the top of my list, I mean, knowing Miyazaki and having the history that I've like dug in for him, I think knowing how personal this film is for him, and not only from like the perspective of like his mom having tuberculosis or his dad working, owning a Mitsubishi airplane shop where he was building these actual Zero fighters in the war. I mean, I feel like when I watch this film, knowing how he is as a animator, as a creator, just wanting to make a great movie or a great animated film, but so much, he sacrifices so much, his family, his relationship with his son. And it kind of comes out in this film where you see Jiro in his wife and how she's like dying at his bedside and he's just holding her hand while he's still smoking a cigarette and working through the night. Like there's so much you watch him sacrifice to be this great aviation engineer. And that for me, that's why this film's so like personal to Miyazaki. And it just comes across like that to me. And that's why I kind of love this film quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it of course, it like reminds me of like My Neighbor Totoro with the same kind of plot of the mother who's sick.
Yeah.
And just like those like themes in his life that like run through his movies. And then like knowing that this was supposed to be his last movie that he did in 2013 and kind of feels like autobiographical and almost like in an emotional, personal way, not like about him, but about elements of his life. It's really incredible. Like, I mean, if art can do anything, like, I think that's the best thing that it can do. I kept just thinking that of like how, like what an achievement this is for somebody to produce something of this quality that is personal and like meaningful to them. But like produce it at such like a scale that, I mean, is like unrivaled in its, you know, in its field, I think a lot would say.
It's interesting you said that because it's like, it's like autobiographical, but also a quasi biopic that also is anti-war and managed to piss off the Japanese government all in like one swoop, one like big right hand from Miyazaki.
Yeah. The master. It is kind of like bonkers. Like he came out of retirement for this movie and I'm like, still, it's crazy to me that this wasn't this, I guess not crazy, but like this wasn't his final film.
Right.
Like, it's almost like, how do you top this if you're him? Like, are you sure you want to make another one? Because, I mean, I feel like you covered everything in The Wind Rises. Like, what else is there to say? You've, like, said everything as well as you possibly could in this movie. Like, there's no... Like, it's a dark movie. There's not, like, a fun... You know, there's not like adorable little characters running around. It's this guy who is, you know, dreaming of creating something beautiful and that will eventually be twisted into something that is not beautiful. And I don't know, it's like a drama. Like I was trying to picture this movie as like a live action film.
Oppenheimer.
And I guess it is. Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But this is my Oppenheimer. I'm sure that's been a review posted a million times. Like, get Oppenheimer out of here. But I mean, the dreams and the visuals of the planes. I mean, the visuals are obviously like off the charts. Like, I was trying to think of like another comparison to kind of like the combination of like the story, the animation style, and like the meaning. But like, the only thing that really comes to mind is like Spider-Verse.
Right.
Like Spider-Verse feels like the perfect confluence of like art, like animation, comic books, and everything. But like for Miyazaki, for this one, this just feels like this is it. Like this is the goods. It's all been leading to this.
Yeah. This is like the movie. Like I want to grab this poster and go up to Disney Studios and like slap it on their windows and be like, this is what you guys retired from doing. This is what you could be making now. But we have Toy Story 4, 5, and 6 coming out, and Cars 7, 8, and 9, and a Planes TV show. But sure, I mean, yeah, you gave up on 2D animation and telling, great stories. Mm-hmm. You guys have missed you guys are cooked.
Oh, Danny, what do you want? World War II land in Disney World? You want to drop bombs? You think Disney can do that with this film?
I think Disney does have the power to do meaningful film, and they missed the boat.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, they're Joe Jazzy in chat's talking about the earthquake scene. Like, what?
Yeah.
The animation of the earthquake is bonkers. It's bonkers. Even the audio of the earthquake, like the noise that keeps like coming back.
Monster? Yeah.
Yeah.
So smart.
So creepy. Proto?
Well, yeah, I guess to keep with that of like that earthquake scene is amazing. The way like the ground is like rolling under the train. It just you look at it and you're watching it, and I just like I don't even understand what I'm looking at. And there's a lot of stuff like that. There's so many scenes where it's like the whole scene is moving. There's crowds of people, there's billowing smoke, there's ash falling through the sky, there's people squeezing in between each other, and they're all happening at different speeds in the same frame, but it all makes sense. And there's certain like things that are done with animation in this that like when I thought about it, I was like, all right, this isn't the way it happens in real life. Like one of the things I love is whenever someone's like surprised or like holds in their breath, like all their hair like starts to stand up.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't happen in real life, but they're like using the medium to like communicate something in those moments for those characters. And it makes perfect sense when you watch it. So it's like something that's disconnected from reality, but they're using the medium in a way to like communicate something that I've never seen before, but it's like intuitive to understand it. And even like getting to that, to like be able to make things in ways that they don't actually occur in real life, but do it in a visual way that will make sense to people and they can connect with. I mean, it just really shows what masters they are. I mean, it's like you could take any scene, any frame of just like, I was just thinking of like, how did they even decide of like how to move from like one scene to a next, and like the cut-ins and like the slow moments of like just showing the mountains or the trees or like the overhead shots or just so many things that just when you focus on it, it just like fills you with wonder throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, there's the stuff with like the hair raising. To me, it's like they know how to illustrate a feeling instead of just like an expression. So like the frustration or the holding your breath, like what does that look like besides just someone's closing their mouth? What does it actually feel like to hold your breath and your body like reacting to it, the hair standing up on your neck? It's like they know how to illustrate feelings instead of just emotions, and just like emotive facial expressions. And it's fantastic. I thought of the one thing I caught this time from what you're saying, Proto, there's all the little scenes where the camera lingers for 3 seconds on like the cutout of this log with water going through it. And it just is sitting there for like 3 or 4 seconds. It's like, why did they have to animate this? Like, but I can't imagine not having it anymore. There's a shot in the beginning where I think he had just left the school, or maybe it was during his dream sequence, and the camera pans and it's just this giant sailboat going through the water that has no bearing on the story whatsoever, except to show maybe life at the time in this little city. But it's gorgeous. And someone spent months drawing this scene that lasts for 5 seconds. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with the story, but these films are filled with all the stuff that I think he calls Ma, and it's what draws me to every single one of every single Ghibli film.
In the documentaries, do they show like what the production of these movies look like? Like, I'm just fascinated by, these movies by and large are considered, Miyazaki. And like, does he influence the design? Does he like draw what the characters look like?
Yeah.
And then a team, like, what is that?
You're laying it all out correctly.
Yeah.
So it's also wild to see the office space, because when you think of someone legendary like Miyazaki, he literally sits in the bullpen with everybody. He has a tiny little wooden corner desk, and there's 50 people in the same room with him, an arm's length from him, all either painting a background or doing it in between, or working on color theory and a cell, while he's sitting there storyboarding out a film or breaking down the frames of animation of movement, and he's trying to figure out, like, how does a hand fall if someone trips? Like, what does the human body do when it does this? And he's like working all these little things out while he's animating the film, and he's just handing off pages after pages to just people to take and run with. And it's mind blowing. Like, this whole process, it stresses me out, but I could watch it. I could just watch a camera sitting in the corner of Studio Ghibli for an hour of just watching these people work. And then they're all masters. They're all masters at everything they do. I mean, you kind of have to be. You've seen these backgrounds of these films, and they're hand painted by a brilliant artist just sitting there. And every scene, there's a shot. I think it's in Gods and Monsters, or whatever it's called, Dreams and Madness. And in this, it's the making of Wind Rises. And at the end scene where the planes are crashed into the ground, he's in the dream sequence with the Caligari, and he's walking through the rubble of the broken planes. The long giant painting of that whole ground as he has to walk through it is just sitting there on someone's desk as they're doing each little strand of grass. And it's just mind-blowing that someone is doing all this by hand.
So you said he's animating, or he's drawing
frame by
pages
frame
in the documentary. So he's literally in the weeds, like starting a scene, and then he'll hand off.
Yep.
Certain, like, after he does a few frames of animation.
He'll like draw like every like fourth frame, like a key moment of like the movement. He'll have it illustrated all the way down enough to where he'll send it to someone to do all like the fine lines of what he's drawn. And he just lays out the whole film.
Wow. Golly. I mean, how much would that painting even go for? What happens to all that stuff?
Where is it all?
In storage
frame
somewhere?
by frame. Like, who has it?
Yeah.
Can I just touch it? Can I smell it? I just want to hold
pilgrimage. It's not like the Shroud of Turin. It's just it's just like a painting from The Wind Rises that people like kneel and touch and move on and have to be carried away because they like pass out. Let's see. One of my notes was, the way Max like sets up these movies, because it was streaming there, is confusing because there's two separate listings for The Wind Rises. It's not just like intuitive that you play The Wind Rises and then you go into settings and choose what you want to hear. The Japanese version, the dubbed version, the English language version. It's kind of lame. So what version did we all watch? I watched the Gordon Levitt, Krasinski action star version.
Werner Herzog.
Werner.
I'm a dub person, so I watch the dubs.
Proto?
She flies like a dream. I watched the dubs too. I don't know if I've ever watched any of the subs. I've just, I just find them so good, the dubs. Someday I'll get into them, but I love them. Like, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt is great in this.
Yeah, I was reading, I can't remember who posted the review. I don't know if it was Graboid or someone else, that they felt like Gordon-Levitt was just kind of snoozing through the role. But it sounds like the original version, also has kind of like a muted portrayal of the character. But I also thought Gordon-Levitt did pretty great in the role.
It's really funny because there's a whole segment on the making of where they're trying to find the voice, and they were trying to mimic what kind of voice they want, and it ended up being
wasn't it like the director of Evangelion?
Yes, it's the direct. He used to, I think he illustrated at Ghibli during Ponyo, maybe. But yeah, Hideaki Anno was the director of Neon Genesis Evangelion, the end of Evangelion, and he was just they were like making like a funny voice and like, hey, this sounds like Hideki, let's give him a call and see if he'll just do the voice of someone for our movie. And he said yes, obviously.
Right, because he's not like a voice actor.
He's not a voice actor at all. No, he just worked with like when they're like mimicking the voice, they're like, hey, this sounds like our friend.
Wow. Basically.
And I think comparatively speaking, I think Joseph does a fine job. I think John Krasinski is still kind of like a jump scare.
Yeah,
I don't really like it in this film. And I like picking out for the English dubs like Patrick Stewart and Edward James Olmos and Claire Danes. Like, it's fun like to hear their voices and they fit so well, but John's does not.
No.
It's very off-putting.
Yeah, he doesn't fit.
He's not scoring high marks for me these days.
No. It's a bad week for Krasinski heads out there, I think, on 70mm. Danny, next on your list.
Another thing that I think most people talk about it, but I want to bring it up anyway, is the marriage between Miyazaki and Joe Hisaishi. I think it has to be brought up as much as Spielberg and John Williams. I think Joe's music and score for Miyazaki's films elevate it just as much as John's elevates Spielberg's work. And I think this film's score is absolutely gorgeous. I think I can say that about any of them, but there's so many moments in this film that I think Joe's music kind of elevates some of the more emotional beats of the scenes. The scene where they talk about her lung and the blood just rushing from her head. Just an insane scene, but the score sweeping through that scene is nuts. And any of the flying scenes with the first dream sequence when he's dreaming about that bird plane, it's just, Joe's score is beautiful. And I think the work that he's done with Miyazaki should be praised as much as John and Spielberg's.
Was there other scores where he does like the one key on the piano to signify a moment? I feel like did I dream that in other movies, or is it only in this one? Because when it happened in this movie,
I think there's a moment in Spirited Away that does that too.
I mean,
it's kind of like a note cool. Hits and like either something like wisps out real fast, but yeah,
it was well done in this movie. I mean, also even just like the lack of score too, like knowing when to not have anything, like when the wind. I think it was supposed to signify like her passing, where the wind shift towards the end of the movie. Like, that was pretty amazing. Proto.
Something that stood out to me this time was what a good guy Jiro is. Of course, I mean, he's a great guy throughout the movie, but I love how it's like shown to you from the very beginning. Like, there's that scene when he's a kid and he like he stands up for that little kid who's getting bullied by the bigger kid. And then of course with the earthquake scene where he saves Naoko when she's young. But like doesn't even tell them his name, just kind of like walks off. Him offering the sponge cake to the kids. He's just like a good dude. You know?
Yeah.
But he's also a genius at the same, like he has that going for him. Which is kind of like it feels like a very unusual pairing. At least in like, I don't know, when I think of people who are praised, who have like produced things, maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just American culture. But usually the people who are held up as geniuses, they're like often not so great.
Right.
So to have somebody who is called a genius by his peers, given that role, takes it, performs it, makes this fighter plane, does everything that he's asked for and more. But then at the same time, he has like this nature about him that is like he's just so good and pure in that way. It's really inspiring because it kind of makes you think like, all right, not all of us can be geniuses. You know, we can't be brilliant at whatever comes in our life and what we might do, but we all can be kind, you know, and seek to help other people. So I feel like that's such like a beautiful message in this movie. It's like, yeah, I can't relate to Jiro as a genius, but I can relate to him as somebody who's kind and helps others.
I was trying to think of like how Oppenheimer was portrayed in that movie, and the only thing I can think of is him nude in that chair smoking a cigarette. That is his
Jiro would never
pound cake moment.
Excuse me. Oh my God.
Did that really happen in that movie? Oh my God.
Yeah, remember like Florence Pugh was in that movie for like 10 seconds
Pound
and she's
cake.
just like used as a sexual foil for Oppenheimer, and she's naked also in that chair. Oh boy.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, Jiro would never.
Sweating.
Jiro would never. Yeah, I love Jiro in this. You know, it's based on like the fictionalized real life, and I think it's also based on a book, right? It has a slightly,
The Wind Has Risen.
The Wind Has Risen
By Tatsuo Hori, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, it's interesting because it's very like loosely a loose biopic. Like I don't think his wife died of TB, and he didn't have a younger sister. He had like an older brother. Like it's a very loose portrayal of Jiro, which is why I feel like it leans so much more into Miyazaki's life story than it does Jiro's.
Gordon Levitt, the GOAT. I mean, I would be so emotionally exhausted doing the voice for this movie because he like does not emote. Like he's withholding emotion, I feel like, so hard. Like towards the end of the movie, I was like, man, I'm kind of tired of hearing him hold back.
Oh my. Spoilers.
Like you want to like, it just as like a voice actor, it just feels like it's a strained performance for Gordon Levitt. Let's see. Let's talk about that line, artists are only created for 10 years. There's a couple artists are only created for 10 years. We engineers are no different. And then like it comes back around at the end where they're having the conversation in that like dream, what do they call it? The dream kingdom or something like that, kingdom of dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he finally does the design, a masterful design, but not a single one returned, talking about the warplane. I don't know. I just thought it was fascinating to hear him write that about an artist only being created for 10 years. And I guess you can interpret that in a multitude of ways of like burnout and I don't know, maybe having like a shelf life of that you only have a certain time frame to share what you want to share. Danny, what did you think of those lines in the movie and that kind of meaning?
I mean, I don't know, honestly, because I don't know if I let it sit with me long enough to think about, because I've been doing art for so long. Is my 10 years up? Have I hit my creative 10 years
yet? Maybe they haven't
yet?
Started yet.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, am I just like Miyazaki didn't start Studio Ghibli till he was in his 40s. So it's like, I don't know. Is he saying he's creatively tapped? Has he not made his magnum opus yet?
Light the fuse.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about, because then it's like, how do you know? Like, how are you writing this line as an artist? I don't know. It's so interesting. It's such a weird line. It's something that I feel like, who was it? The director of Kill Bill. Why can't they use his fucking name?
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, Tarantino's like, I got my 10 films.
Right.
And that's it.
Coldplay's only doing 10 albums.
Coldplay's only doing 10 albums.
Coldplay, Miyazaki,
Do we only go
Tarantino.
10 years as a podcast?
I think that's probably a great question to ask. Shut it down after the next 5.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because Miyazaki is clearly never retiring. Like he's going to work until he dies. I don't know. I know I could never stop just doing art. So it's like, it's just, yeah, it's very fascinating.
Yeah. The thing I thought of when I heard that was, I think of how creators often, when they first start, they're like drawing from their own life so much. And I think that's like often where the best stories come from. You know, like when someone breaks out, if you're a writer or a musician or a director or whatever it is, often like your first work has some kind of special place because it's maybe in some way a part of your own life. And then once you've made it, you can do other things. And whatever that magic was that gave you that people loved might not be there anymore. But I don't know, maybe it's also like a joke that like this Italian designer says it, but then Miyazaki's like, hey, I've been here for 60 years doing this.
Tongue in cheek.
You know?
It's interesting. It's also like, sorry, just to go back for a sec. It's like, I don't feel like I am comfortable in my art style ever. So I always feel like I'm trying to not change, but not get better isn't even the right word. So I feel like I still like am trying to find myself in the art world that I'm in. And yet I've been in it for so long that when do I settle for how I create? So I wonder if that's part of it. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Every time you share a piece of art with us, you're usually disparaging it seconds later.
Right. I don't want to look at it anymore. It's done. What's done is done. Don't show me my art anymore.
Right.
I never want to see it again.
I don't really do it enough, but I will say I was looking for something on our Instagram and I was scrolling through our art again. And I was like, holy crap, some of this art is just like insane.
Yeah.
Like it really is. I mean, I know you get it front left and from behind, but
pound cake at it again.
I got up.
I was blown away all over again.
Thank you.
I mean, 266 episodes. There's at least 266, not even counting the 70 that's behind the Patreon.
It was funny. I think an order came through for like the Truman Show print we did. And I was like, God, I was doing something different then than I am now. And now it's like, I don't know. What will be doing in like 6 months? I'll have changed it again at some point, probably.
Right. It's also, I love selfishly when Danny goes on these trips to Celebration or when he has a table, because he will not say it publicly, but he gets compliments on 70 millimeter all the time at these events.
Interesting. At Celebration in Japan, I honestly probably 10. I probably got 10 people come up who's like, hey, love your art, but I really listen to 70 millimeter and I love you guys. I'm like, what? People are listening to our show?
Right. I mean, that feels like it's lost too, because we started the show and then the pandemic started like right after.
And then I stopped doing cons.
And then we were like, oh, great. Maybe we should have started a podcast. But then it ended up working out in our favor. But we you were going to cons a lot pre-COVID. So that kind of interaction was kind of lost. I think it's easy for us to forget how much in-person interaction didn't come back.
Yeah.
Or not that you would have wanted to go to cons a lot. I think you were kind of like on the verge of retirement anyway, but
I'm not coming out of retirement. I promise you. I'm not going to Miyazaki myself with conventions.
Danny walking down the field ahead of San Diego Comic-Con to enter the building.
God, no, I can't.
Proto, I think. Next on your list, maybe?
I could just go through my honorable mentions. Let's see. The shot of the Italian planes going across his face when he's a kid. So beautiful. The wind is rising. We must try to live. I mean, Jiro, how many languages does this guy speak? It's
when he starts talking German.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Him being called a genius on your first day in front of your coworkers.
Yeah, kill me.
Yeah, right?
God.
Like, I'm jumping out the window.
He takes it on the chin and just bows in front of everybody.
But I do love that scene later when he's describing the fighter plane to them, and you can like you see the love that they have for him, and then even like the I don't know if it's like the president and then like this COO or whatever, but they're like he's like that was interesting, and he was like that was amazing, just like the awe that his team has for him. Werner Herzog eating like a rabbit. That first scene. Oh man, the scene I loved, and I never really thought about this before, but when he's shooting the paper airplane up to Naoko, that is such like a beautiful like scene of romance. Like I feel like that scene is showing you them falling in love and kind of like, you know, doing a dance with each other where he's at the bottom, she's up at the top on the balcony, and he keeps trying to shoot this plane. And of course it's like an amazing scene with this airplane flying through the air. But her, you know, leaning over the railing and then ultimately like catching it. It's a really beautiful moment. So I was really taken by that of just like how subtly I felt like their relationship is shown in this.
Yeah.
I've loved you since the day the wind brought you to me.
What a line. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, Naoko had some bangers. Oh, his boss at You're a Human After All. I thought you'd marry an airplane. That whole wedding scene is so great. I love there's also like really great moments. Like Jiro is like he's put between like a rock and a hard place, right? Like these moments where it's like, all right, the woman I love is dying. She needs to be somewhere to get help, but I also need to finish this airplane, but I want us to be together. And like that choice for her to come and stay, for them to stay together, even though like it won't be good for her health. Like that's such an impossible decision to make in that moment. And I feel like there really isn't a right answer, you know, like you can't really say what was the right thing to do. And I mean, that's life, right? Like how many decisions do you have to make where you just don't know what you should do, but you have to choose something. And just like his resolve in those moments and like them just loving each other and being guided by that is amazing.
Yeah.
The hand-holding scene reminds me of Jenna so much. She's pulling that kind of stuff all the time on me. Just sit here and hold my hand. Jenna's great. Love you, Jenna.
We love Jenna.
She'll never listen to this, but I love you. Oh yeah, and then like that final scene. I mean, the final scene of like the airplane going by, it's like his up to this point, like the achievement of his life. As it's going by, he like turns his head to like look towards where she is. I mean, it's magic. It's a magical movie.
If you watch one of the documentaries, he changes that ending like mid illustrating. He changes the script, and she was going to say for him to come to her instead of stay and live his life or whatever. And he changed it to say what it is now, obviously.
Wow.
But he's like mid illustrating these scenes, like, no, I'm changing how she responds to him or talks to him, calls to him.
5 stars.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
My Menchie's, the colors of the clouds in his dreams are insane. Is Gordon Levitt goated?
Honorary.
Cracks me up. What was that like business that he did? Is it like Project Red or Camera? What was that?
What was that called?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Hit
He
Record?
did like some. Oh yeah, Hit Record. Hit
Does
Record
it still
show.
exist?
I don't know. There's just like no. The phrase "cultural footprint" cracks me up, but like you never hear anyone talk about that stuff. Like, what's Jordan?
Yeah.
What's he up to?
Hit record.
And what is the community that is, like connected to it? Is there one? Is it real? Where are these people? I don't know. I don't know enough to answer the question. But is he goated? How about when that designer destroys that camera in the water, pulls the film out? Remember when that plane crashed?
Yeah.
I mean, how much was that camera? Sheesh. The handwriting in this movie. Give me a 5-hour documentary on the handwriting animation.
Yeah, how do they do it? That and when she's painting with oils with just the knife. Like how do you animate?
It doesn't make sense to me. My pea brain can't figure it out. I know. I love the German plane, that metal German plane that they were like walking through, and then it like fades out so you can see the inside and the outside. Yeah. So cool. The sunset on the train, there was like an unbelievable sunset. It was almost killed by an umbrella in this movie. Like that is a nightmare scenario, being killed by a flying umbrella. Like, what a way to go out. Ugh. Please don't let me go out that way. Just impaled by a flying umbrella on a beach. Animation. How much? I mean, the going to a sanatorium in the mountains to get better. They're all just kind of like in what look like a sleeping bags under blankets outside.
What cozy, actually.
Yeah. Don't go back. We should be together. I mean, when that pilot says she flies like a dream, thank you. Great line. Oh, yeah, there was a scene where they were running through an alley and the shadows. This was when the Germans were chasing this kid, I think, at night. And the shadow play in the alley with the lights. I don't understand.
Sickos.
Absolute sickos. So we meet again, Japanese boy.
I feel like that translation to English makes it sound way more worse than it is.
It does.
I can't imagine just walking up to someone and calling them a Japanese boy.
How about Krasinski saying, to work hard at the office, you need a family at home? I feel like I could be a voice actor. If John Krasinski could be a voice, right? I sounded like him.
Yeah.
He did one take for all his lines and he just left. To work hard at the office, you need a family at home, Jiro. Ha ha. That's all we're getting from Krasinski. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Goated.
She was beautiful like the wind. I mean, this is a really weird movie. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, we talked about it for like 40 minutes, but it's just like a weird drama, conceptual dream scenes story about the director, but also this character. Very bizarre. But I mean, it's a sight. It's an absolute sight to behold. And also like the meta contextual stuff is bonkers. One of my notes was just like, offhandedly reminds me of AI, TBH, like how he's creating this stuff. And, this wasn't really the thing at the time, but like now you can kind of make the parallel. He's like making these things that will be eventually used in horrifying ways. Like we kind of joke about AI, but like, what's 5 years going to look like?
The entity.
What's 1 year going to look like with some of the like AI video? Like when OpenAI did like the Ghibli yourself.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? That was like not even that long ago.
It's like a week ago.
And people are like, having fun. People that aren't like, that don't have the time in their day to think about that stuff. They're having fun. They're making Ghibli versions of themselves. Can't blame them. They're not really dialed in. But like on a bigger scale, like what's 5 years look like with AI? I don't know. Will the show be around in 5 years?
No, we have a 10-year. That'd be 10 years.
Do we have a 10-year time frame?
Has our 10 creative years started yet? Is Mount Goatmore creative enough to say we've started our creative 10 years?
What a dumb sentence.
The start of greatness, Mount Goatmore.
Hi, Al. Mount Goatmore. Do you think this is the height of what we can offer here? Can you give us a comment on Mount Goatmore? I mean, and then it's just like the meme of him like rubbing his forehead or
Leaning back, smoking another cigarette.
So I'm going to go up. I'm at 4.5 stars.
Okay.
For The Wind Rises. Danny.
The only other note I have is Miyazaki illustrating planes forever. Like, I just want to see him draw planes and airplanes and flying machines and aircrafts forever. I just watched this week Kiki's Delivery Service and Poco Rosso, 2 films I absolutely love, obviously. And it's just really wild to see a company doing 2D animation for decades. And everyone, somehow the craft gets better and better. And that's like no exception for The Wind Rises. Like The Wind Rises is an absolutely stunning film. And when you put it like side by side with something like Kiki's Delivery Service, which is also a stunning film, but the quality and the artistry is like leaps and bounds, just continually to get better. It still makes me like so pissed off that Disney ditched their 2D animation so early on in the 90s. Well, late 90s. So it's like, man, where would they be at if they hadn't have pulled the plug so fast? Not that I don't like some of the CG movies, but it's like, it just, when you watch like Wind Rises or The Boy and the Heron, it's like, God, they're still cooking with gas over there at Studio Ghibli.
Did they have a Miyazaki at Disney? And the only person I can think of, just everyone calm down, John Lasseter, but he was drifting into the computer effects by that point anyway.
I don't know what John did. I mean,
like a 2D animated, maestro. I don't think there was one, right?
I mean, Glenn Keane is the only other animator that I could pull out of my hat right now, but he worked on so many of the 90s, the Renaissance illustrations. He's obviously not a household name, but I think if he had maybe taken more of a leadership role instead of just an animator, it could have been different. Maybe, I don't know. But Glenn would have been the guy. Glenn, is that right? Yeah.
When I watched Bambi a couple months ago, I was like blown away by how like avant-garde that movie is. Like, I feel like Disney wouldn't make anything like the story is, I mean, there like almost isn't a story to it. I mean, it's incredibly beautiful, but it reminds me a lot of like a Ghibli movie. Like watching Fantasia reminds me of that too. Like it seems like there was just like an artistic vision, and maybe that was like Walt's influence with those, but
and maybe those movies can't happen anymore in a corporate environment that exists today.
No, definitely not.
Like it has to be a Miyazaki,
small studio,
running the whole thing.
Yeah. Back to the movie. I don't know what else I have to say about this film, honestly. I obviously love this film. It's a 5-star film for me. I think for me, so as far as like Miyazaki being put up on my nomination for Mount Goatmore, I don't think there's another, and this is also putting Spielberg in the same boat as Miyazaki. I don't know that Spielberg does for me what Miyazaki does for me as far as storytelling and creative. Like when I watch a Ghibli film, I get all the same feelings I have watching something Spielberg has done, but I come out of a Ghibli either like inspired to do something not just artistically, but be something different, or strive to see something different, or take moments to look at something in a different light. Every Miyazaki film does that for me. And I don't think I can say that for any other director, creator, person of media that I consume. So when we brought up Mount Goatmore, Miyazaki was the first one I thought of over anyone else. And so, that's why he's my choice.
So just to clarify, Fabelmans didn't do that for you.
Nope. No. Ponyo does it more for me than Fableman's.
Proto and I were both ready with a Fableman's gag. I also was ready
really?
for a Fableman's line when you were talking about
You
Spielberg.
absolute sickos.
Shocking to remember that the Fablemans exists and came out in the last 5 years. That is a thing that happened. I mean, what year did that come out? That wasn't 5 years ago. The Fablemans.
2022.
Oh,
God.
You gave that 4 stars, Slim.
I know, but I don't remember anything about that movie. Fablemans. What's my review for the Fablemans?
Let's hear it. Here we go.
I can't even read this.
Please
This is
read it.
nonsense. The Fablemans. Me as Michelle Williams as Judy Garland next on 70mm.
Stupid ass. Did we cover Fableman? Oh, we did cover Fableman.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Sheesh.
We have a VM to play that I was late last week. Remember, we did Final Reckoning last week.
That was last week.
That was last week. Andy left us a voicemail. Let's listen to this before we close out this week. Don't blow it, Andy. This better be good.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andy from Joplin, Missouri.
Where?
And guys, podcast history.
Mm-hmm.
You have the interview with the podcast Vampire Boys and the 70mm Boys
That's us.
all in one episode. My goodness. Well, I'm excited to hear what you guys thought of the movie. I'm excited to see it. I'm going to see it tomorrow. It should be good. But I just finished listening to your last episode on Dead Reckoning Part 1. And man, what a great episode 2 on that one. And so hopefully your theories were correct. Hopefully Grace is Marie's daughter, and hopefully it's a double fake, a double fake out, and Ilsa's not dead. That's my hope for this last one. So, love you guys. Can't wait to hear the episode. Danny, can't wait to see the gorgeous artwork. You've been killing it with these with these cover arts, and so just really dig them. Love you guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
We didn't even do an episode on Dead Reckoning Part 1. I don't know what fever dream Andy was in. Didn't he say that he enjoyed our Dead Reckoning episode?
Maybe it meant you guys did it for
maybe.
Vamps.
Okay, podcast Vamps.
Yeah.
I apologize. Apologize to you, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, well, just to know how he felt afterwards, he gave it 4 stars, Final Reckoning.
Oh.
Said, thank you, Tom.
Oh.
Next week for Mount Goatmore is my submission
Huge.
to be etched in stone forevermore, Ryan Coogler. And my pick from Ryan is from 2015, streaming on Amazon Prime, if you choose to support that company.
Okay.
Creed. Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, Tessa Thompson, Felicia Rashad.
Tessa Thompson.
This is a big one. This one's for Philadelphia.
This is a
one's
Philly
for
movie?
all
Philly movie.
our Philadelphians
Local
out there.
boy.
Local boys on this show. There's a very specific scene that encapsulates everything about Philadelphia in this movie in 30 seconds. I can't wait to talk about it.
Okay.
The former world heavyweight champion Rocky Balboa serves as a trainer and mentor to Adonis Johnson, the son of his late friend and former rival Apollo Creed.
Stallone's in this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's in this
Okay.
a lot.
His body.
Oh, really?
A lot.
You know?
I think this came out before. Wasn't there like a Balboa movie? Rocky Balboa. That came out 2006.
Oh, yeah.
Directed by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, no. That's
Proto, closing thoughts this week. The wind rises at our backs and Creed ahead of us.
Yeah, I wanted to recommend, if you watch The Wind Rises for the first time or maybe the 5th time and you're riding that wind still, I want to suggest a triple feature. Okay?
Jesus.
Because I had a double feature, I think last year. I'm going to add The Wind Rises to this triple feature. So
Okay.
you've watched The Wind Rises, right? Now, the connective tissue, I need you to watch Godzilla -1.
Oh my God.
We're just going to continue the story. You know, we've seen the plane being built. Now we can see the pilot.
Okay.
We can see his story of redemption. We all were there. We remember that if you saw the movie. So you can watch that. And then when I watched that last year, I then, without really knowing what was going to happen, I watched Hiroshima Mon Amour.
Holy cow.
And we're switching gears here. We're switching gears a little bit, but you're kind of getting the whole gamut between these three movies. And to me, those three, they're all bangers. And it's great movies to watch together because they share common themes in the thread. So that's my recommendation.
Okay.
A very rare Proto recommendation for triple feature.
Maybe the first.
Please be careful out there. We'll see everybody next week for Creed. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematric. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to Pro or Patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.